Mayor, next on the agenda, we have a moment of silence, which has been our custom for many, many years, for all of those serving here and abroad to return home safely to their families. And a roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Here.
Mr. Camerata?
Yeah, I just also want to add our thoughts are with the family who had that fire the other day, and hopefully they'll be able to recover from that and move on. But our thoughts and prayers are with them.
Okay. Ms. Grover?
Yeah, thank you.
Ms. Hockman?
Yes.
And Mr. Carley is out. Mayor, next on the agenda, we have the open public meeting statement. I'll read that aloud. In compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, notice of this meeting was given by way of annual notice filed with the Township Clerk, the Home News Tribune, the North-South Brunswick Sentinel, and the Trenton Times, and posted on the bulletin board in the South Brunswick Municipal Building on January 11th, 2024. Mayor, next, before we get started, I understand for the ordinance for first reading, number 2024-14, we got a call that our presenter will not be present today, so we're going to move that forward to July 17th for introduction?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a note of that. So next we have the address from the floor. Is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak? You can come on up to the podium and state your name for the record. There's no microphone.
Yes, that was
Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is John O'Sullivan. You already know that, so. Okay, I have two questions for the council tonight in regard to something that you approved. This is about the redevelopment plan for on US 1, on Campus Drive in US 1 for a 6-story building. From what I remember from sitting up there, we don't have any rules saying that you're allowed a 6-story building in Township. I checked with the construction official in town, and he said we don't have any rules that say you can have a 6-story building in town, and this was in the plan, redevelopment plan you approved. So please explain.
I don't know a 6-story building.
The article in the paper described it as 6-story, which was,
Story.
it's not.
It's not a 6-story building.
Right, but go ahead, Brian.
Right, I don't have the details in front of me, and of course, we don't have a site plan application from the developer yet, but I don't think it's not intended to be 6 stories.
It can't be, as you said,
Right,
John.
it can't be.
Well, that's why I brought it up, because I
Yeah.
remember from sitting up there,
Right.
being told you
You're
can't
right.
have it.
You're right.
When I saw it,
Right.
I went, what's going on,
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
going on down here?
It's going to meet the height requirements that.
You read the article that I read. I
Yeah.
forget what it's in the patch
Yeah,
or one
well,
of those.
Somebody has to keep an eye on you guys.
Yeah, thank you for doing
That's it.
so.
Okay, all right, and my second question pertaining to this is, did any of the principal owners of that property contribute to the South Brunswick Democratic Organization?
I don't even know who the
I
principal
don't
owners
even,
are.
wouldn't know that.
We don't even know.
No
I don't know who
idea.
the principal owners are, I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
I guess I have to check it out. Okay, thank you
Yep.
for your time.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Thank you, John.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
Is this for open
You-
public comments or?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mike. Mike, go ahead.
Just state your name for the record.
Hi, Mike Havernansky, live in the Kingston section of South Brunswick. It's on a similar topic. So living down there, I'm getting concerned about all the redevelopment plans that are going on in that already congested area. If you look at what's already been approved with the Sonesta being turned into apartments, the 300 units that John just talked about, the 1,800 units that are already being built on Northumberland, and the 1,600 units that, at least in planning, is going into Ridge and Chalks Crossing, that's, what, 4,000 housing units in a 5-mile stretch of already congested Route 1. Now we're also talking about, or there was another plan approval or near approval for another property that's just north of 522. And then tonight we were supposed to be talking about another redevelopment just ahead of Forest Law Village, seems down there. I don't know what the redevelopment is for those. I wasn't able to find it, but that's a lot of housing going into an already congested section of Route 1. So I have a few questions, really. You know, what's the plan when it comes to traffic?
We have
You
to
know,
ask the state.
Well,
Yeah, I want to interject here,
Yeah.
because round 3 of the affordable housing, which ends this year, December 31st of 2024, was established, and anybody that wanted to build in South Brunswick that couldn't meet hands with people in South Brunswick sued us via builder's remedy lawsuit. All of those developments that you were talking about were settled in the courts, and we had very little or nothing to say about it. Those plans never came to South Brunswick. We never had an opportunity to plan for them. We never had an opportunity to talk about roads or anything. The courts decided that. January 1 of 2025 starts round 4, the next 10 years, and it could be twice as bad. We don't know yet.
Mayor, if I could only interject, just to be clear, they weren't settled in the courts,
They're
they
not.
were forced upon us by
Forced
the
upon
courts.
us.
Builder's
Yes,
remedy is called, Mike, it's the
agreed,
yeah.
and I'm not arguing about any of
Yeah.
that. I
Right.
understand that that's the
We-
case, and that this was forced upon the town. I'm not arguing
100%.
about
And
the
we're
fact
still litigating that.
that
Mike,
you
Mike, just
did
to
the
explain,
redevelopment.
it's called the builder's remedy.
Laws.
Yeah.
There was 10 objectors, and they had actually the freedom to go ahead and present these to the court.
Right.
And the court say yay or nay, and basically, as our township attorney said, they said yay to all of them.
I get all that, right?
Yeah,
So now
so-
we're stuck with it.
Yes.
So, what's the plan?
The
for
plans,
traffic?
we're gonna continue to fight
Fight
it, because it's not settled yet. We're still fighting it, even it goes all the way back up to New Jersey Supreme Court. The plan is, though, eventually they're gonna have to come to us to do a site plan, and that's the only time we'll have to be able to say, hey, you need to follow some
Okay, but
guidelines
the
here.
300 units at Campus Drive, you guys approved already, right? So, that's going forward, right? The 200 at Sonesta's already approved.
Yeah, some of that we're
Some-
trying to be proactive on.
Some of that we're
Yeah.
trying to be proactive.
And the
Right.
1600, right? So that's a lot of new
Well,
units.
Yeah, the
in-
1600 is not. The 1800 is forced down by the court. The 1600 Ridge Road, that's still under litigation.
Oh, I drove past there and they're building something.
The
So-
one, no, the one on Ridge Road,
Yeah, I drove past there on the way here. They're building something. Like they've already, it's all
That's another-
roped off and they're.
that's
taking-
not the 1600 units. Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
still,
Separate.
point being is, you know, this is gonna have a big impact on traffic, which is in an already congested area.
Yes.
Kingston Fire, you know, are they gonna be able to handle all this? Or, you know, Kingston First Aid already closed, you know, what would be the issue there? And what's the impact to schools? I know the, schools kind of, I hear that enrollment's declining, but is it in Cambridge and Constable where these are mostly gonna
Yeah,
go?
no, it's gonna
Or-
impact all of that, 100%.
Right, so-
We're looking at that every day and we're still fighting this in the courts as we speak.
And then also the 300 units is coming with a long-term tax deferral. And I looked for information about that, couldn't
Right.
find it. So what's the impact there when it comes to, once again, Kingston Fire or the schools or local property taxes? In the interest of transparency, I'm requesting, and if it's not available, but to be available, since it's such a major impact to that area, that the town put together a report and publish on what you think the plan would be. You know, I'm an accountant by trade, I'm not a town planner, so if it's in the master plan, I can't make heads or
It's not
tails
in
of
the
that.
master plan.
Right.
So, you know, for those of us, especially for those of us who live down there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we would like to know what is the plan, and I, you know, in the interest of transparency, would love to see the town agree to kind of put that out.
Mike,
as-
it's not just your area,
Yeah.
it's Ridge Road
Yeah,
over,
sure, of
I mean,
course.
they're, and these builders are putting them everywhere. As the mayor said, we're still fighting it,
Yeah.
but it's gonna impact our whole town. And that was our argument from day one.
Right.
They asked us to, at the time, we had 12,000 units, they asked us to double it in town.
Yeah.
And the problem is, we have too much land.
Yeah.
So that's what they're trying to say, you need, and we, round 1 and 2, in the beginning of 3, we were the poster child. We were so good at affordable housing. They used to refer to us, look at what South Brunswick's doing. But then they canceled COA, they couldn't support it, they put it to the judge, Judge Wolfson, he's our buddy, he's the one who said, this is what, you need to put 15,000 units in South
Yeah,
Brunswick.
originally the number of affordable units, there's over 2,200
Once
units.
again,
Yeah.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
No, I
that you
understand, and we're
approved
just,
it.
we're just giving you a little
I'm
background,
saying,
right?
in
Our
the
first
interest of
step-
transparency, we.
Well, there is no,
or
the
town
transparency
needs
is
to put
through
out
our township attorney. There's no land use meetings on this, there's nothing. We hear it from our attorney when he goes to court and fights it.
I
So-
agree. So
for
let's
the-
just say we lose, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do for the roads? What are we gonna do for the schools? What are we gonna do for Kingston Fire? What are we gonna do? You know, where are we in that planning phase? I think the people who, you know, live in the whole southern end of town would like to know that. And that's all I'm asking for as a plan. I'm not arguing that you shouldn't have let it happen or anything. I
Well, it shouldn't
understand.
happen.
No, I understand that it's builder's remedy. I understand that we lost in the courts. I understand all that.
Well,
Now,
we
what
haven't
do
lost
do?
yet.
Right,
We're-
we
That's,
haven't
see,
lost
that's the thing, we haven't, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's
Go
great.
ahead,
That's
go
good
ahead.
news that we
We're-
haven't lost yet. I'm glad to hear.
We got a partial victory at the Supreme Court last, almost a year ago now. And we're still trying to work out and limit the extent of what the previous judge had ordered.
Right.
And,
Well, you've already approved 500 just in
Some-
that little stretch of.
but as I understood your question, it really was two parts.
It wasn't really
You're
a
talking,
fight. Well, yeah.
talking about the builder's remedy, but you also asked about the redevelopments. And the redevelopments are something that the council can use to try to get ahead of that. But with the redevelopment, there does come a redevelopment plan. And when that's introduced to the council, that redevelopment plan is public information. So for some of the redevelopments that are already out there, we can get you the redevelopment plans that came with it, and it should have, in plain English, some of what you're looking for, intersections, traffic
It's
and
sort of
studies, that type
I
of thing.
saw the one for
You are on the
Bridge Road.
soapbox, and
And,
let me tell
you
you,
know,
I
if
think
you're a
you-
city planner, maybe you don't understand all that. But, you know,
You're
it talks
trying
about
to get
lots
it
and
into
lots of
his
things
head.
that, you know, the average people don't know. It would be, and once again, I'm not arguing about whether you should approve or not approve, right? That wasn't
has
my
nothing to
question.
do
My
with
question was, can we see a plan? Is there a plan? And it, you know, we should be putting out, the town should be putting out a plain English plan about how to deal with all of it, not just, oh, here's the redevelopment plan submitted by the builder, here's one I think council should be putting out, hey, people of South Brunswick, this is what we're stuck with, and here's what we're gonna do about fire and schools and taxes and roads, you know, if and when we have to. That was my question or request, not about what is it, or can't we fight it, or, you know,
Yeah.
any of that. Unless
Okay.
we can fight it and move it, some of it, at least to the 130 side, or split it up a little, I don't know, but that was my
It's
question.
coming over there, don't worry.
My request was for a plan that is understandable to us and not, you know, builders and town planners and all the rest. So, that's it. I just want to be clear that that was it. Just
Mr. Womack, Mayor, it's my understanding with the next month or two, we have to present our round four.
Yes,
At that time, that will be made public, true?
That will be. It's a little more than a month, but we've got.
Okay, well, yeah, okay,
So the affordable housing goes in different phases, and as we look towards phase 4, we don't know what our obligation yet will be.
for phase three.
But certainly by early 2025, late this year, we will have to have a comprehensive plan.
Okay.
And it won't have everything you mentioned in it, but we can make an effort, or the council and the mayor can make an effort to include most of those things in sort of an ancillary report perhaps.
Right, and in, you know, something that a regular person could understand.
And Mike, Mayor, plan for, I can't even say it, the fourth plan
Right.
will take 10 years. So we have
Right.
10 years to do it, so it's not like it's gonna happen overnight.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we can't control, once
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the building permits and stuff are given to the builders, we don't know how quick they'll develop.
Yeah.
But we have our plans, and.
Not
and
criticizing, just
Yeah,
asking
and one of the-
to see the plan.
Just a little bit of, so that some of the redevelopment plans we're doing, we're actually taking old hotels or motels and converting them into affordable units. So that really isn't
an
impacting
asset.
our fire department and other things of that nature. So we are planning, or trying to plan, to get ahead of round 4. And that will all come out, as Mr. Womack had stated earlier,
Is that still
in
gonna
that
be-
whole round 4 plan.
You
'Cause
have
that's the-
500 units on Route 1 South there with no
Right.
you know, way in or out, that's gonna be a problem.
That's
So,
a different, yeah.
yeah. So, that's it, I was just asking for
Okay.
a plan,
Thank you.
not
Thank you.
criticize.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hello,
Hello.
Hello.
my name is Maria Serdo.
Where do you live?
25 years lived here. I have a couple questions. As I know, some of you know, I've been very involved in the Ridge Road Properties LLC. And there was a redevelopment study that you, the township, had asked to prepare. And I had gotten a copy in April of 2024, that it was done in April of 2024. And one of the things it talked about was the Middlesex County Master Plan. And it said that the Middlesex County Planning Department had prepared a separate open space and rec plan, which was adopted in February of 2022. And a key feature of that was open space and rec plans that towns would identify as open space opportunities. I would like to know, Ridge Road Properties LLC is 176 acres. Why was that not considered part of the open space opportunity plan?
It wasn't considered, but we certainly tried to negotiate to buy it.
We did, yeah. So that's a Middlesex County plan.
Yeah.
South Brunswick has their own
Right.
master plan. So we don't.
Okay, so if you had your own plan,
Right.
why wasn't those acres included as part as, let's keep those as open space?
Well, at the time, and when's our last master plan? I think it was
2018.
18. Okay, at the time in 2018, that was all farmed.
Correct.
I know. 'Cause
I
you
know, I
where live.
attended those meetings
You
when
know
they
where
got
I live,
redistricted.
so, right, it was farmed, because where you live was farmed when I was growing up. So that wasn't included in an open space because we're farming it, so that was good use of the land. So in the South Brunswick master plan, it wasn't considered for open space. Middlesex County, I can't answer why they didn't include
Okay,
it in
the
open
next
space.
question I have is, you, the Township Planning Board, signed in 2022 an agreement with Ridge Road Properties to take those 176 acres and make 3 warehouses. What is the status of that? I know I have been calling the township attorney probably once or twice a month, and they're saying it's still up to the judge. But my question is, as you know, the corner of Ridge Road and Shawks Crossing, now American Properties, has started building on their 64 acres, is on the revised 3rd round affordable housing plan. Do you still have those warehouses smack in 2 subdivisions, between 2 subdivisions?
Right. So basically, because the area needed redevelopment fell in the planning board, right, only
I
one
was there,
block and
correct.
lot passed. The others were deemed not an area in need of redevelopment. You go back to that original settlement agreement. In the original part of the settlement agreement, it says the courts have to adjudicate whether that they can actually build a warehouse or we need to build the affordable housing. The courts haven't adjudicated that yet. So literally, right now, the ball, and if I can talk to our township manager and our township attorney, is we have to wait and see what Ridge Road Properties really decides to do.
So let's say the judge signs off on your plan that you signed with Ridge Road to do warehouses. Is that what's gonna be next between those 2 subdivisions?
It would be, yes. So then it would be, go back to the planning board, they'd have to do a master plan study and review, adopt a different zone, and then go from there. But when it comes back to the planning board now, it just becomes just a site plan that everybody has input in.
It's just shocking to me that we would put 3 Amazon-sized warehouses between 2 developments of single-family houses.
I understand.
My last question is, in tonight's new business, item 1, you're gonna be discussing or authorizing the Township Planning Board to undertake a preliminary investigation on whether various properties of Monmouth Junction should be designated as in need of redevelopment or rehab. Those various properties, can the public know what those are?
Sure.
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
They're Ridge Road, Pearson Street,
I'm
Walnut.
sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, go ahead.
When you say Ridge Road,
Well, there's certain address, I mean, it's in,
is there a, do you
Brian,
have blocks
maybe
and
we
lot
could
numbers?
supply
If I
the
could-
actual lot numbers.
There is a public document. We did do a master plan amendment last year. which you can take a look at. And it calls out for some areas that need to be looked at in Monmouth Junction, okay?
So,
But the side streets are Pearson, Walnut, and Maple.
Correct.
right, and that's by Oil Co., where New Road, East and West New Road are disjunct, they don't come to a perfect T.
Right.
That's the area that we're looking at in need of redevelopment.
Rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation, I'm sorry, right. Because in my lifetime, I'd really like to see somehow New Road get straightened out.
And then just one other comment I have to make is, when we publish agendas, which sometimes is a day or two, on the website, and you have things on your agenda, we put on there redevelopment block 97 lot 1. Public has no clue what that is, what street that is. I would love if you could at least put on there what we're talking about, what streets and what area. Thank
I'm sure
you.
we can accommodate in that. I'll just give you an idea, yep.
Maria, that's a good idea, because that would help me too, so I had to look it up myself.
Yeah, no.
That's a good suggestion.
That's a good
Thank you.
suggestion, maybe, Mr. Bidlack, maybe we could look
Yeah.
into that, give addresses too, that'd be great, thank you.
Good
You
evening,
say your name
council
for the
members.
record?
My name is Rashmikant Acharya, and I'm from the Summerfield community, the Scenic Park side, not the Stop and Shop side, old Stop and Shop side. So I'm here about approval made last week about the cricket field.
Can I interject one
Yeah.
thing?
Please.
It wasn't an approval. That was a discussion item.
Okay.
Okay? So a discussion item means that in that case, in that particular case you're talking about, that cricket pitch that you're talking about, our Parks and Recreation Commission had made a
Suggestion,
recommendation to
recommendations,
the town
yeah.
council that we need some cricket pitches.
Okay.
And they gave us a couple of spots. So we said, all right, well, maybe that it's a good spot.
Okay.
Maybe it isn't. So we got a lot of emails from everyone in your area.
And most of the people are here.
I
Yeah.
figured that. So
I agree.
you can raise your hand. So what, and I don't wanna prolong a meeting, but I wanna give everyone an opportunity to speak. What I would like to do,
Please.
if we could, is I will have Mr. Bidlack or someone pass around a notepad. You write your name, your address, and an email, and let's get a separate meeting where we can discuss that cricket pitch, pros and cons. That is not cast in stone.
Absolutely. I would like to take this opportunity at least to at least
100%.
lay out our concern. Not
Perfect.
everybody is going to speak and
Right.
they're not going to make you
Right.
stay here till 3
Right.
o'clock.
Yeah.
That's not the goal. The goal is to make sure the wide audience hears our concern.
100%.
Right?
And with that said, the plan is to have the Director of Recreation, along with
Correct.
Brian Bidlack, and maybe a member or two of us, because we don't have two,
Council, right.
probably myself, maybe Ken, meet with you, maybe even at your site,
Right.
and we would go and walk it
Yeah.
and see what's the best use for it.
I would
I
prefer.
And that's
I would
the
prefer-
So
plan.
let me tell you why I'm here.
But go ahead, I just
Yeah,
want
no,
that to
because
be.
I wanna
I
get to
had
the
a-
site, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's what I want to actually go
No,
to the site.
this is good. You guys
And
are
this way
prepared
we can
and
see it.
and you guys were prepared, you guys were ready to listen to us. It means a lot.
Okay.
Okay? I just want to let you know, I did not know anything how to even pursue this. I talked to Barbara, I talked to a couple of other folks. We sent out an email to Brian.
Yep.
I called, first thing I did, I called Amanda. I said, Amanda, I want to complain about your decision. How should I go about it?
Right.
So that's why I'm here.
And you did the right way.
Yeah.
That's the perfect way.
So this is the situation. Cricket field is good. We are not saying it's bad. The problem is the entire cricket industry has been managed by 3 leagues in the whole New Jersey.
Yes.
You create a permit, those guys will take it over. They will sell it. That's how it is going everywhere throughout the New Jersey. They are throwing money everywhere. They are rich. The league is rich. They are throwing every money. What we don't want to do is on expense of our South Brunswick community and all the citizens who are happily living here suffer because some league wants to make money.
Right.
That is what we don't want to do. Cricket pitch is good, we would use it. The day you make it a permit based, it's outside all of our league. And that's what we want to oppose.
Okay.
You want to do something for, let me tell you something. There was a one thing on the letter which says that it is underutilized. Saturday and Sunday, every morning, South Brunswick citizens, at least 40 of them, are using that field to play cricket at this point. It's not underutilized. weekday, every evening, there are at least 20 to 25 people are playing volleyball. It's not underutilized. Okay, so that field is being used every single day for
That's good to-
cricket and volleyball perspective at
That's
this
good.
point.
That's what we want.
My only concern here is we want to utilize any property created by South Brunswick community, used for the South Brunswick citizens and South Brunswick community.
Totally understandable.
We do not want to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning hearing 40 people cheering because somebody hit a six
Like from
run.
North Brunswick.
Not
He's,
till
he's,
7.
he's 25 feet away from the.
We understand, and,
Yeah.
you know,
So,
that's,
those are,
The point is, these fields in South Brunswick are for South Brunswick residents first.
That's my concern.
That's the first postulate, that's everything we abide by, okay?
That's
and
my
adhere
only
for.
concern here.
And that will continue. Now, sometimes we require permitting because maybe your family wants it, like a barbecue. Your family wants it from 9 to 10, somebody else wants it 10 to 11. So sometimes there's, scheduling has to be involved sometimes, because it avoids conflicts.
Listen,
Even within South
I
Brunswick.
completely agree with you. My only thing is you open up permit and you sell it, we are done.
No, it would only be for South Brunswick residents, that's what I'm saying. So I think, and again, that's something we could talk with Amanda about.
Sure, and
That's
another
not
thing,
our-
another thing I have heard, again, I'm not part of that league, I don't know much, but what I heard is, the way they start this program is they will create a South Brunswick team. They apply for the permit.
Right.
And the South Brunswick team will take that and join the league. So now,
that's
they
good to
use
know.
the South Brunswick team's name,
right.
and they use this for their profit.
Okay. That's not good.
I'm just saying, that has
No,
happened
that's
in
good, that's
Edison,
good.
that happened in
Because that's
Edison.
not the intent here.
If I'm,
I understand, and I'm here to tell you what
Thank
has
you.
happened in other
Thank you.
townships.
our process with baseball, softball, football, soccer, is that we sit with the head of the organizations, and those organizations are all for people from South Brunswick. And we draft a field use agreement
Okay,
before they're allowed to use the field for the season.
okay,
And it's an agreement that has to be approved by the council at a public meeting, so that we do make sure we've done everything possible to ensure that the field is for the use of residents of South
this
Brunswick.
is very nice to hear, and we would greatly appreciate if you, when that time happens, you share it with us. Another question I have is, when this proposal came to the council, right? It would have been better communication if you would have received some kind of a communication. So you were discussing last week, we would have come here at that point. It is sad as a South Brunswick Township member to hear these things from the patch.com, right? It's sad. We would like to hear from you guys, right? You guys are representing us. So if you guys have a little better communication, it will be better for us, right? Many of us are here, leaving the job to come here early from New York City and everywhere. I don't know whether you have to legally do this.
But
Did I say
I
something
just
wrong?
want to say something that,
Yes, go ahead.
I'm very glad that you guys came out. It was on the agenda, and we are very, very transparent in whatever we do here. So it was on the agenda, and agenda is online.
Okay, so what
Available.
you're saying is we should always take an agenda
Look at
every
the
week.
agenda, whatever is there.
it's every other
If you,
week, so-
yeah, and if you don't understand anything, you can call me, email Barbara, and we will explain it to you. Why are we here? We are here for you guys.
Absolutely.
Right,
And if
absolutely.
you don't come here and tell us anything, sometimes we don't know.
So,
All of you
that's a
call
good point.
Ann tonight, please.
sorry?
Please call.
Yeah, we'll call you everybody. Everybody. Next point.
Yes.
Just for future reference. Let's say we did not hear you approve the field for permit. Is there a procedure that when you approve something which is affecting our community, we are living right there, you would communicate via email before it becomes final?
Definitely.
if you ask, I'm sorry if I may.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr.
If you ask to be notified, any council member, I'm sure, would make sure that they would notify you. But there is no formal process in South Brunswick, and I don't think any other town, where we send an email, we have an email list of, oh, here's what we did tonight. I've never heard of that, but but you're able to follow up with the clerk, find out what passed, didn't pass. If you wanted to make that phone call, she'd be happy to and is obligated to tell you.
So, at this point, the plan, I just want to re-verify, I understood you guys, I'm a little slow here. So the plan is here, is you guys are going to take our names.
Yes.
You guys going to take our names, and you, Brian, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brian and 2 members
Yes.
will meet us at our location.
Because
Is
we
there
can't
any-
have 3.
And
Okay.
and
Is there
Amanda,
a particular
and Amanda.
time frame, like a weeks or months?
Brian Bidlack.
My intention is to organize this within the next 2 weeks.
Next 2 weeks?
Yes.
And you would give us at least 1 week advance notice?
Absolutely.
It's
No,
gonna-
his administrative assistant will be contacting a representative of your group, maybe you're the spokesperson,
Right.
and
So-
set up a best meeting for you too, in time.
Now, I've already responded to many of you.
Correct, you did.
And
I
told
just
you that-
wanted to make
yeah.
sure we come to a bigger audience.
Correct.
At the same
It
time,
will.
right?
So-
We did not know that if this, are you the final decision maker or is there somebody else's final decision maker? We did not know that.
You are the final decision maker.
Right.
Oh, boy.
We work for you.
I'm going to fly to this. I'm not going to walk.
You are the people.
It is gonna take some time to compile this, and then set some dates out
Thank you
there.
so Brian, once you meet us, once you come to meet us and we discuss the concern, the next step would be to document everything, all the concerns, all the points, and have a discussion afterwards.
Absolutely.
Correct?
It'll be an open dialogue.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And
Thank
then
you.
the next time it comes to council, we'll still have that email list, because council has to actually vote on to enact it. You'll be notified.
Beautiful.
And as Councilman Camerata indicated, the intent is to come out to you guys. We'll come out to the park. Okay?
Beautiful.
Not to come in here in this room. I think it's more productive if we're out there. So.
Absolutely.
So, at this point,
some cricket too at that time.
Well, I'll bring my volleyball, but Ken will bring his cricket. His way.
But
so I just want to make sure, the intent was to make sure you guys are aware how the cricket leagues are operated
Right.
and how it destroyed some of the
that's helpful.
intents.
But with
And
that
we
said,
didn't
remember,
know. I didn't know anyway. I should say, I don't know if they
Yeah,
did.
we-
I did not know.
So that
Very
bothered me the
helpful.
most. I was worried
Yeah.
about it. That I was dreaming that there would be 40 cars outside my house parked and people shouting at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That was my.
remember, we also got a lot of emails requesting volleyball, so that's something.
They're here too.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is you have to decide, maybe you guys can talk together. Do you want cricket, you want volleyball, you want both, or you want to just leave it as it is? That's for, okay.
Because
well,
it
and
is
that's-
being used. See the point we are trying to make is.
Yeah, you have to
cricket-
tell us that.
Cricket field is being utilized right now. Volleyball field is utilized by right now as it is.
Okay,
Or 2 different times.
Yeah, they coordinate very well.
okay.
All right, so we'll just
And
come out
at
with.
times, we have a cricket going on and volleyball going on in the same field.
Then we might just leave it as is.
Exactly.
That is the goal.
So if that's gonna be the case, let's go out, let's still meet, let's look at it,
That would be awesome.
right? Well,
And Brian, rather than signing us, do you want us to sign or do you want us to send you an email wherever you have everybody's contact?
Well, I think I have everybody's email address that emailed me before Friday. Anybody that's emailed subsequently, I didn't include them in that original email, but anybody that's emailed me, I will certainly invite them to this meeting.
Sure.
If you haven't emailed me and you want to leave me your information, please do that.
We will email you then.
Okay,
I
that's
shared your
fine.
email address to everybody.
okay, then
Hey,
we'll,
it's not my intention, I asked Amanda, how should I do
That's
that? And
fine.
she said, everybody send an email to Brian, and that's what we did.
That's fine.
and that's fine, and I just, had Brian bring the pad, because I just wanna be, if there were people out there that have, we can have a,
Sure. And I just for the record, how many people are for the cricket field? Raise your hand. No. Regarding issues with the cricket field, how many are there? Raise your hand. Everybody. I just want to let you know that.
perfect.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
our pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, can you
Please
top
state your name
that?
for the record.
Name is Alec Wallen. I live in the Kingston part of South Brunswick, and that's a tough act to follow.
Exactly.
So, but I was too slow, so here I am now. So I wanted to talk briefly, I know the issue's been put off to another meeting, is it 2 weeks from now, but the issue of the redevelopment plan?
July 17th is about a month.
Sorry, 1
July
month?
17th,
Yeah, 1 month,
1 month.
1 month,
Okay.
and that'll be just for a first reading.
right.
Same as it is tonight.
Right, so, but nonetheless, I'd like to
Go ahead.
make a few comments to get them on the record.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I've organized in my own head in terms of sight, sound, and water. So I heard someone say earlier in the meeting that there was some discussion of a 6-story warehouse and that that's not the case, right?
Well, that was apartments. No,
Six.
Apartments, oh,
Okay,
sorry.
not a warehouse.
Not
Hard
over
to keep
there.
track. Right. So at any rate, what I saw in the plan indicated something like 50-foot warehouses as within the specs of the zoning that's being contemplated. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, just as a matter of sight, right, this is kind of related to what you were making, right? You don't want a 50-foot warehouse looming up right against your backyard.
Oh, I know.
However many there would be. Right. So, my request is, insofar as it's possible, to put qualifications in the plan to make sure that if there are going to be 50-foot warehouses, that they're set back some distance from the community. I understand there has to be a 200-foot setback from the property, but maybe it's possible to add a qualification that the things that will be within 200 feet, or things that will start at 200 feet, will not be 50 foot tall, maybe capped at 20 or 30 feet tall. And then as further distance, you can have the 50-foot warehouses. So that's the site thought I wanted to lay out as a suggestion and a hope. The sound one. So I know this is New Jersey law, and I'm opening up an app here because I want to get this right. Let me just ask by show of hands, how many of you have a real clear sense for how loud 65 decibels is?
Oh, yeah.
But that's the state law. But, you know,
That's our the most outside generators have to be louder or lower.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the state law. Now, the state law is different for nighttime, right? Nighttime is 50.
Yes.
So I'm just going to hold 50 for a second, right? No, it's too high. That's 50, okay? 65. I can't quite keep 50. It's loud, right? You don't want that at your property line. So I'm going to ask, again, insofar as it's possible to put qualifications into the plan, since this is going to be right up against a bunch of residences, let's cap it. We don't have to go with the state standard. The state standard is a worst possible case scenario. Let's cap it at 50, the nighttime standard. It's reasonable for the property line.
Excuse me, I was planning board chair for many, many years before being on the council. And those were stipulations we would put in that garbage couldn't be picked up during the night because of all the noise. It couldn't happen before 8 o'clock in the morning. And so you can build in the specifications of how you want those warehouses to behave. And it's worked. No one has ever come in and complained that
Beautiful.
the warehouse is, garbage is being picked up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Because I agree with you, nobody wants this in their backyard. And so, Mr. Bierman, he understands because he's on planning board now, our representative, and so would you like to finish answering that?
No, so we do that all the time.
Yeah.
So the
Site plan conditions.
the one good thing of the area needed redevelopment is we have a lot more control over it.
Right.
Okay.
I understood that from the last meeting you went to.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
And-
great.
And, so these are things that we're gonna end up talking about and getting incorporated into the plan so they don't occur. Hopefully, we
Yeah.
can't say we're not going to, but hopefully we don't incur these issues. Yes.
Great. So, two more.
Mhm.
So, one more is about the location of the berm, right? So I understand that the plan
This is the water part, right?
What?
The water aspect.
The
It's the
wood?
water-
Well, site
water
sound, this is
aspect?
the water aspect.
So it's a water and it's actually a site
Okay.
aspect too. So it's a
'Cause I'm taking
dual-
notes here.
It's a dual aspect.
Okay.
Right. So if you've got a 200-foot separation between the property lines and where buildings can start, you can put the berm anywhere in that, right? Let's make sure the berm is within the last 50 feet of the buildings. Because
And I know we are working on that, because there's a tree line that's there that
Yeah,
people
that's
want to.
the point.
Yeah.
I do have the point, I've been listening, I really have.
That's
I
great to
took a
hear.
lot of notes, because I was at the meeting, you were at the meeting,
That's
I was
right.
there.
I was- yeah, I was
there.
Mr.
That's great.
Camerata was there.
That's great.
And I have the notes, and I know, I don't know what they've come up with, but I know that the developers are working on saving those trees and working with on that.
Okay, so one thing I did see in the plan that came across, I think it came to me via Ian Seaman, via Steve Elston. So anyway, but the plan I saw said something about trying to save trees and put them on the berm. And that seems to me like a bad idea. Okay.
That is a bad idea.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
talked about
To
that,
save
is a
trees by
bad
knocking
idea.
the trees
You wanna know
down.
something, a tree that's a couple hundred years old is not gonna survive when you put it on a
Yeah.
berm.
Exactly.
No,
Okay,
So-
and out there in your neck of the woods, if you go off of Raymond Road, there's a park off, I forget the name of it, Cleveland, I think it is now.
Yeah.
There's a tree that we dated back, it dates back to 265 years old. They swear, this, not me, but our Shade Tree Commission people swear that there's scars in the trunk of that tree that are probably from revolutionary musket balls.
Excellent.
Okay, just, so,
Let's not get
but,
those
so I do follow this a little bit, just a little bit.
That's great to hear. So I just wanted to make it concrete.
Okay.
The last 50 yards, the last 50 feet. That would be great. And the other thing is just on the water, there's good reason to think that because of what was done in this land earlier, there's going to be some toxic runoff. So I just want to make sure that we're really paying attention to the potential for toxic runoff and also the potential, this is the berm water connection,
Right.
that berms cause water to flow downhill off of them.
On both
Right.
sides.
Yeah, and we live in a place where the groundwater is already, in a wet season, flooding the yard, right? If there's more flooding because it's a berm that's causing water to flow off, that's a problem. So I want to make sure that people are paying attention to what the water flow impact of berm would be.
Well, they're gonna have to abide by the new stormwater management systems and stuff, so I'm sure that we're gonna be looking at this with a fine tooth comb.
Beautiful.
You know,
I'll be
we
back
have
to
to.
see what you do.
Okay, I know, thank you
Thank
for
you.
your time, really, thank you.
Thank you, thank you for your input, your sage input.
Right.
Okay, good.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Hi, my name is Suman Parar, and I'm resident of 30 Scenic Drive. I heard most of it. Rashmikant is my neighbor. He mostly explained. You guys explained a lot of it. Just want to add a little bit of it. I had put in the requisition for 2 volleyball courts. I have been actively participating in the game along with all my neighbors. Like a lot of them are coming in, like from early spring to end of fall. We play there. We encourage our kids to come and join in. So at times it's like a lot of too many people, too many heads coming in. That makes it difficult for us. At the same time, we generally have those portable makeshift ones. We have to come and set it up every time, take it off every time. That's why we have put in that requisition. And at the same time, having a sand field will be much more safe as senior players. Like we are not like young kids, like we can manage everything. We fall one day, it'll be like months
Bump.
we'll be away from it.
right.
So that's the main thing, like having
Fortunately,
a
we understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I play soccer also, so I'm kind of used to it. But now I know it. Like when I get injured, it's like at least 2-3 months I'm away from it. I am not to my potential. So even for these volleyball games, a lot of us play there every day. So actually, the requisition when I put it in, like the next day only somebody put up that link saying in patch.com like a cricket field has been approved. Like yeah, honestly, like I'm right across the field. I play cricket also, but there are certain constraints on the field, like with parking and the proximity and all these things, how far the ball can travel and stuff, which I'm well aware of. So before we decide, definitely we should think over it. And because the field is mostly used by local residents, not just Scenic Drive, Sequoia, Astor, Yarrow Circle, like all those people, all these neighbors, everybody, we come in there in the evening to play there. So I'll definitely want you to consider building like 2 volleyball courts because kids are also playing. Sure.
Have you been to Veterans Park on Beekman Road, off of Beekman Road?
No.
If you get a chance, go there. Our Public Works Department, who's excellent, they built one about a year ago.
Okay.
And the residents, because that's a huge park there.
Sure.
And it's all sand. It's a very nice volleyball court, it's always being used.
Right.
If you want, just go there and make sure that's something like you like, because we could probably, again, after we discuss, talk with everybody,
Sure,
but
I
that,
have,
that could be replicated.
Everybody over here, like, like, we are here like, for that. Like,
But I'm
we
saying
just
we
come
can
in
do that,
here.
we can do that in-house.
Okay.
There, but take a look at the one at Veterans Park, please.
I have seen the,
Yeah, that's what you're talking about, right?
yeah, means I've even seen the Woodlot Park, like.
Yeah,
that
Woodlot
also,
has,
but
yeah, that's the same.
Those are more than enough.
Yeah, that's the
That
same
should
kind,
be-
same thing.
So, when we decide to do something about the scenic part, please consider
Okay,
that, because
yeah.
the local people
Well, that's
are
what
playing-
we would have in
Be
mind.
out there talking to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing, like it's been couple of years from the scenic drive, like the children's playset has been taken off due to unsafe conditions for the playset.
Mhm.
That has not been replaced back, because previously kids used to come in, now they stopped coming in. We try to encourage our kids to like step out, go and play in the field like that. Like now, when younger kids don't have a playset like that, like they are not coming out
The
at all.
playground equipment you're
Yeah.
talking about, okay.
Right.
Well, we could put that on the agenda when we go out.
Right. And
Go ahead.
one more quick thing, like because I live right across it, maybe because of lack of lights around that parking lot, there are times cars that are parked overnight, parked late. A lot of nuisance does happen. Sometimes if I keep my windows open, I can hear the noise. I don't want to keep on complaining, the police come over, look who is doing what. Lot of unwanted stuffs are left over there also, which I've noticed it last year. Only when the cleaning comes in, it's not like regular thing, like the road cleaning.
Yeah.
That will only pick it up. So please consider that also. Look into it, like how it's being utilized or what's happening there. I don't want anything bad happening there. I know cops are there sometimes, but they cannot be standing there all night for us.
Mr. Bidlack, maybe we could ask the chief to have some increased patrols go through there?
I already have it written down.
Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, it's not like when the patrols are on, when the cops are not there, like, they will not be there, but after that, they come in, like.
Well, I mean.
Yeah, I know, like, certain things are beyond.
It could help. I mean, if-
like, everybody's, you cannot have a 24 hours eyes on that, what's happening there.
Yeah.
But a little bit of more lighting on the streets or something that might prevent people from coming in and misusing the place.
Okay.
So, but mainly thing, it's for the volleyball court, like we residents are really using it. We are using a makeshift to like every day coming and putting it up, taking it off and stuff. It's quite a bit of a hassle. So it would be nice to have a couple of courts for the residents.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Volleyball was my game too.
Is there any, you can state your name for the record, please?
Durai Raj Abasi from 14 Sequoia Drive. Today is a sports day from Scenic. They covered volleyball and cricket. I'm here for tennis.
Tennis.
So I moved in this place to after looking at middle school tennis courts and high school tennis courts. A lot of people play tennis here. All of a sudden they closed both middle school and high school tennis courts.
Yep.
Then the only courts left with was Woodlot and Scenic.
Yep.
Both of them had cracks in the middle of the court. They instead of fixing it for good, they poured tar on that. So ball bounces uneven all the time. So nobody, only we play it because there is no other option. Sometimes we go to North Brunswick, East Brunswick to play tennis. But we pay, I mean, this is our town.
Right.
We love to play in our middle school. We love to play in our high school. It's all closed.
That's a school board issue, sir. I can't address that.
Yeah.
The school, you'd have to go up to a school board meeting and address.
I understood that part. We already went there and they are saying some other reason.
Right.
But
Yeah, I know, they are saying a lot of that, yes.
I'm sorry.
Here, our courts are very bad.
They are, and we are looking into appropriating some capital funds to redo them. To redo them correctly, it's a lot of money, and we have to take care of that. We do, I know we have to take care of it, and it's on the agenda. So, I can't tell you this year or next year, but it's there, we're gonna get to it. And they have to be dug up and repaved.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
If you can add this into your agenda also, because every time.
You can add the tennis courts to the agenda when we come out to see you guys. I don't think we can fit them on that, I don't think we can fit them in that park, but.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Magesh Kamalakanan. I'm from Dayton. Looks like today is like a sports day. Thing like you said, tennis.
Basketball, maybe?
If you want to guess, I'm going to talk about another sport.
Basketball's out there.
Pickleball.
Ah.
And you guys started it. You guys started it 2 years.
How
3
big's
years
this
back or
field?
something.
So I don't
When you created pickleball court on the veterans side, I was wondering why are they creating pickleball courts?
Yes.
But I started playing 2 months back, and I'm hooked to it. And there are 100+ people playing pickleball
Yes.
in both regular park and in Veterans Park.
Yep.
And if you go and see now, there will be a big crowd waiting. Of course, you put some rackets.
Can I
and
go
stuff.
now?
So, our request is, there are currently 8 courts.
Yes.
4 courts in regular park. You did a good
There's
job.
there's
putting
10.
those
There's
courts.
2 courts in
Courts in
Bedford Park.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Bedford Park off of was that New Road?
It's Kingsley.
Kingsley.
Okay. Well, that
There's
is,
2 courts there.
Tennis converted to.
Yeah,
pickleball,
it's
right?
it's a joint. You can do both.
Joint, yep.
Yeah, but what happens is, that is the only good tennis court in South Brunswick. Like you said, Scenic Drive is bad, Woodlot is bad. Woodlot, I put a petition in 2018. They said that the foundation is not good.
We did
Not dig it up.
patch it up last year.
Yeah, they just patched it
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
It is kind of okay. I'm worried that some kid might fall on those tar things and should not be a issue for us. So please see what you can do on those Woodlot courts. I don't know what can be done, but I
Sure.
spoke to Recreation maybe 5 years back. They said that
Good night, Ann.
they cannot redo the foundation. So
Sorry.
my request is, if you can add a few more, at least 8 more pickleball courts, 1 on this side of Route 1, and four on this side and 4 on that side.
Goodbye,
That
Mrs.
will really
Lindbergh.
help us.
We
Plus-
have been looking into it. Mr. Conrad here has been really spearheading that project, and he did a great job at the ones that we had done last year.
Right.
And it's just an up-and-coming sport that just
Yeah,
boom,
suddenly it caught
it
on, I
boomed,
know.
Okay?
I-
Because if
frankly,
you
when you put that, I
prior
was
to,
thinking
prior to
it-
COVID, if you asked me what pickleball was, I'd say, well, I don't know.
Yeah,
You know,
when
Yeah.
you put those courts, I was wondering it is a old people's game.
I wanna give
But
you
now
an- I wanna give you an
my
idea.
thought has totally changed.
All these things cost a lot of money.
Yes.
Which one?
And we don't have, all these things cost a lot of money. The fields at Reichler Park, we had promised that we would have them lit this summer.
Oh, okay.
We got the quote from the lighting company. Take a guess how much you think it would cost just to light those 4 little fields?
For light them?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 100 to 200K?
200,000
Okay.
without the
I'm good.
electric.
Right.
And it's just, that's
That's just
3
buying the
times
equipment.
as more what we paid to put the pickleball courts
Yeah, I know.
in.
You spent 189 on the Veterans Park, I know that, yeah.
It's just amazing the cost of
But you
things.
can't get some kind of sponsors for that and
Well, we
put
just,
some billboards for
we
that?
were hoping we could just do it within our capital funds, as the mayor was saying, but no,
We have so many
200,000.
businesses out
So
there.
now we gotta go get some more quotes and see what else we can do.
Well, honestly,
That is correct. Yeah,
I
maybe
can
we-
honestly say that I really don't want advertising on our fields.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, whatever.
So
whatever.
that's me. I don't know how my
No.
colleagues feel. I don't want anybody advertising on my field.
I'd rather look at the old school, we used to just bring our cars up and
Yeah.
shine them
Yeah,
on
I
the lights,
think
get the
that will
lights on.
Open up a can of bombs advertising, I agree. And,
Let me
other-
ask you, Mr. Something, Magesh, that's what you said. At this council, we try not to raise our taxes. The school board raises taxes.
Yeah, there is
okay?
8.9%.
And you know everything what goes
8.9%.
on.
9%, yeah.
That's
Yes.
gonna cost this
So-
town, just one
Yeah.
second, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Ian, $1 million more per month going to the school board in your taxes.
Right.
1 million per month.
And they use an example of $200,000 the average home.
Exactly.
Our homes aren't $200,000 in South Brunswick.
Right. So just to put some things in perspective, and I get it, we need to educate our children in it, and we're not gonna touch that, but I'm sorry, and I just need to put the number in
I agree with
perspective.
you. I created a petition against that, but I was very disappointed that I could get only 550 signatures
I know.
out of 40,000 residents. I'm sure a lot of the people here may not have voted out.
Anyway, I'm sorry,
So,
go ahead, Ian, I'm
no,
sorry.
I just want to finish what I'm going to say is if we raise taxes, we are in trouble. People don't want this council, right? Everything now, just a senior citizen center parking lot, to pave that would cost $1 million.
I agree.
Okay. People complain about everything here, and we try our best to do or give it to our community, whatever we can. And if we raise taxes, please don't get mad at us because we all
I
live in
understand,
town.
understand.
We all live in town. We all pay what you pay, I pay, and everybody else.
Yeah.
And if you compare with the other towns here, I think we are one of the best towns who provide a lot of services without charging.
I
So,
agree, but we can improve a little more on some of
We're,
the.
we're working
Yes.
on improvement. Every day I look in the
Does
mirror and
somebody
comb
have
my
a
hair
jar,
just
we
to
have a
improve.
jar we can pass around.
And yeah, pickleball, that's my request.
Okay.
Yeah, you can consider that. And of course, the cricket.
Yep.
We also want cricket fields. Everybody plays cricket.
I know.
So I also play cricket, and we have a team. And last time I came for some request to allot grounds based on South Brunswick residents. Priority should be given to South Brunswick residents. Maybe I came 3 months back with a couple of people, and we sent a mail to Billak. Whatever magic he did, they got the ground. Thank you for that. And I think you were looking at 2 grounds. Yeah, they genuinely have a concern that scenic park. We were wondering it is too small for a ground. I think it's 150 yards. So I don't know whether that could be smaller. So you actually, yesterday I was walking in Veterans Park. You have a map there. There is an area marked for cricket ground on
They
the
used to
other
play
side.
cricket there all the time, because I
Yeah.
lived in Beekman Manor for years,
Yeah.
and they used to play there.
Yeah, so that can be looked upon because
Yeah.
that's a pretty big area.
Yes.
Of course, they have residents there. You
Right.
can maybe make sure you can.
We could
keep it in the
reinstate that,
center
that's a
or
good
something.
idea.
That is one, and
When,
Sondeck
when we
Park.
meet with Amanda that day, you could bring that up.
Yeah,
Well,
and the
thank you.
Sondeck Park also. You have 3 baseball fields. One, I think Mayor has agreed to give it to the softball team, I think, right? The one on the left
Right.
side. You have 3 more on the other side. I don't think they're used very frequently, or they're not used also.
Wow.
So maybe you can look at considering.
They are used, I mean,
You know what?
Right.
And I'll say it now,
Yeah.
please,
Yeah,
thank
go
you,
ahead,
thank you.
'cause you're doing it, yep.
The young girls in our town get slighted a lot, and that's girls softball.
No,
And we
definitely
try
please
to,
give
we,
the
we try to
softball.
have
Yeah,
something
yeah.
for them, and that's really
Everybody
the
should
only
play.
couple
It's not-
fields
I'm not
for
asking
them.
only for me or for them.
Yeah.
If you promise to the softball team, please give
Yeah,
it to them.
it's
But-
important for, because
Yeah.
again, it's so hard to satisfy everybody. We're such a
Right, I
diverse,
agree.
everyone says it,
But
it's
is the other
true.
3 fields used? The other 3 baseball fields, are they used? I
Well,
don't
we need to get, look, all this discussion tonight is anecdotal. We were asking, and we've asked and beseech our recreation department to come up with some empirical data. How many members in each association, baseball, football, the whole thing? We gotta look at this analytically and decide what, most of our sports has always been for youth. Now, because of pickleball and cricket, a lot of adults wanna play. So it's changing in town. Again, the diversity should be shown in
Good, our
those
health
areas.
index will be much better.
Yeah.
So we need to look at this globally, as you were saying,
Yeah.
well, one on one side is 130, one on one side of Route 1. So we need to look at a global aspect. That's it.
I agree.
South Brunswick is almost 43 square miles.
Yeah.
We have a lot of parks, and they're in great shape for the most part. They really do. Our Parks Department, I think, does a great job doing the best they
Absolutely.
can, taking care of them. And we try to give these facilities and amenities to our residents and take care of them. The sports venues it's changing. And you said it 2 months ago. You said you picked up pickleball,
Yeah.
right? I get it. So now that they're changing, we have to look at this, and we can't just look at one part. We have to look at all of South Brunswick.
Yeah, I agree, definitely agree. And regarding your comment that we have to approach this Board of Education for those school courts, I have done it from
I know,
last 4
I
or
know,
5 years.
Everybody has.
Nothing
I-
happens there. I'm very happy at least
I-
here,
yeah,
things move. I'm thankful for you guys. So I prefer to come this side rather than go to that side nowadays. Because
We,
there I
we-
have
we
tried
do the
3,
best
4
we
times.
can. I listen to I consider myself an advocate for the residents, okay? When someone comes to me looking for something, I look into it. We can't do everything.
Yeah,
We just
I agree.
can't, okay? But we can do the best we can and make some changes.
definitely, I agree.
And that's what we're here for. I think when we get out to Scenic Park, we can make some changes. And people should be not ecstatic, not in love with us, but they might be a little happier. And at
We
the end of the day-
represent and serve you. Always,
at the
don't
end
ever
of the
forget
day,
that.
that's all we can do is make you a little happier.
And my last point is, like what here and others raised, warehouses. We have quite a lot of warehouses on this side. That's okay, Dayton side, it's a little away from residential area, but maybe we should avoid warehouses in residential areas. That maybe it's a request to avoid too much congestion in those areas, especially that Perrin Road and all, it's very narrow roads. That and the already congested Ridge Road, all those areas are a little congested. So, I mean, you have to somehow make sure that those warehouses don't come there.
We will
It's
do
a
our
request.
best. I promise. I live right around the corner. I know them. I know it well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Come on up. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Nitin Khanna. I live at 6 First Avenue. Everyone's talking about sports and parks, and I think something that is a precursor to that is accessibility to these parks. So one issue I'd like to bring up is Woodlot Park. There is no bike lane on New Road, so like people like me, I live next to the high school. I can't safely access Woodlot Park without using a car, and there are lots of other people like me who are maybe they can't drive or there's no cars at home and all they have is a bike, but they still can't access the parks that they want to access by biking. And it's very important for towns to have accessible biking lanes because, as we all know, like climate change is very much heating up, and especially in suburban sprawl areas, transportation has one of the highest emission factors, and giving alternatives to transportation like the Freedom Trail, which is good for north to south travel. We need more east to west traveling through biking and more safe ways for pedestrians and bikers to access the other side of South Brunswick that's crossed by Route 1 and 522.
It is a great point. We've looked into it over the years. Unfortunately, our town is bifurcated by that federal road, Route 1.
Yes.
We looked into doing an overpass. It was $2 million. We're still looking for that and trying to get some funding. Other than that, crossing
yeah.
Route 1 is
Crossing
very
Route 1 was
difficult.
terrible. That overpass, actually, if you remember, Mr.
Yeah.
Cameron, right there, Major Road to Sand Hill.
Right.
It's perfect because you really don't have to go that high because you do have the high points
That's the
on
high
either
point.
side of the road. And they've looked into that. So yeah, it's a state thing that we have to deal with too when we go east and west. So we do take that into consideration.
I mean, if you have a suggestion, we're open to hear.
We can't have like a bike lane like in New York City. They have like street lights for bikers, so they tell you when bikers can pass, and it's like a green for bikers, and they have like a specific bike lane so that it's easier, like it'll be a safe time for them to cross.
Crossing like at a certain intersection. So having it available for bikers or pedestrians.
Yeah.
Maybe we could run that by, our South Brunswick police,
We'll have our traffic people look into that.
But they will have to also talk with, maybe when we're doing the route run shoulder, maybe we can talk to them about that when we have our next meeting. Because they've always talked about pedestrian crossing. And I don't know, get our tax committee involved, get the, South Brunswick Police Department, but also DOT.
Yep, we have to.
Well, we have to have DOT.
Yeah, because that's
the road.
that's the road. They have jurisdiction. So we can come up with suggestions like you're saying, but the New Jersey Department of Transportation has to have a seal approval because they have the jurisdiction over that road.
So you still have to consult with New Jersey State for even just a crosswalk on Route 1.
Correct.
Yes.
It's a road.
It's their road.
We don't want to cross Route 1. Not me. Yeah.
All right.
And we've had discussions with them about pedestrian on Route 1. They try to encourage it actually, and we don't know how they're going to do that. And every plan they've given us, our South Brunswick Police Department has shot it down, saying it's not safe for the pedestrians. And in this case, even bikers. But I like your idea. That's interesting. You have a delay for just bikers and pedestrians. That's unique. So I learned. That's why life is great. You learn something every day. So thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
You got the most applause
Come on up.
tonight.
Hold up. Oh, just,
Just
yeah, if we can have, yeah, no, that's okay. I called you up first. Go ahead, yeah.
Sorry, I'm short. Hi, I'm Susan Edelman, 12 Morton Road, Monmouth Junction. Hi, I usually get retired.
How are you?
And congratulations to you.
thank you.
So, okay, I am here. I was motivated, number one, first of all, you're very lucky you start your meeting so nice and early. I was totally shocked. I figured it was not 6 o'clock until I looked, so I apologize for being late.
No.
But number one, I wanted to share with you my trip home from Princeton today. I get to the whole Princeton route was very nice and calm, even though they're changing the pipes under the roads and stuff. I get to Route 1, I have a green light. That's wonderful. So the cars are moving across the light. The car in front of me jammed on his brakes because he felt responsible for letting the car who went through the red light at the turn light coming the other way go in front of him.
If I may,
Very-
what was the intersection? Route 1 and what road?
Oh, Ridge Road, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
thank you.
I knew it, I knew it.
Yeah, no, it's Route 1. And I'm astounded at this. Number one, luckily I got to stop in time. So then we continue on, and I get to the jug handle from Route 1 heading across to head
Promenade.
toward Princeton. There is a vehicle who darts right in front of the car in front of me with no place to go, and it's just stuck there. Then, it was the worst trip home I've had. Then I get to Sharks Crossing. We have a green light. A car went through the red light to make the left turn onto Ridge Road and had no place to go because all of the cars heading toward Princeton were backed up from Route 1, one or two cars beyond Schultz Crossing. But this car went around them and formed his own lane so that he would get somewhere in the queue. This was today, and I felt like I just needed to, number one, share this with you because it goes along with what I think is happening to Monmouth Junction. I don't know if I'm totally in the know, but I mean, there appears to be a lot more traffic on the horizon in that area, and it's very scary for me. So that's number one. Then, also in regard to safety in the area, Stouts Lane. Now, New Road has one of those lights so that when people can cross over New Road by the path, they can do so safely. Stouts Lane, which is a curvy road, does not have that at all, and there's no light there. And I really think for the sake of our community members, we need one of those flashing lights that you can press the button, whoever's crossing the road, sometimes with animals, can do so safely. And I've been meaning to bring that up, and I've been negligent. Third item is Fresh Impressions paving.
Yes.
Okay. You sound like the man who has this.
I have the answers, I have some of them. In fact, I was just talking with the engineer today.
Okay.
Because we're finalizing some plans. There's a few little hiccups tying the phase 1, 2, and 3 all together. I can tell you, because I was gonna talk to Brian about it. One of them is the way the road was actually overlaid in phase 3. We have 6-inch curbs all the way around the whole development. Okay, unless you go out by the one road that we have with Belgian block, which you probably know, it's the newer section.
I know
All
it.
right. Anyway, because parts of phase 3 were just repaved, not milled and paved, we have 6 inches of blacktop. So when you mill and pave, you go down 2 inches. If we go down 2 inches, we can only have a 4-inch curb, because the 4-inch curb will then match the 6-inch curb that's throughout the development. So we are working on that last thing, and once that is done, the plans will be done,
Okay, I
specs will be
think that's
written.
very
Go ahead.
important, because the last time around that the roads were repaved,
Mhm.
I don't think there was attention paid to that. And what happened was, the roadway was so high
Yes.
that it made everybody's aprons collapse.
Yes, because
And-
the pitch was too much, it was more than a 2% grade coming from the center going toward the curb, yes. That is the last thing, I was just talking with the engineers today.
Perfect, very timely.
So I am on this because it directly affects me.
I
Now,
know
there are a lot
this.
of people in our development that think it doesn't because I live right there at number 2. But I try to explain to them, I ride my bicycle through that development almost every day in the summer. I know what the roads are like. They're like, no, you don't drive in a car. I ride a bicycle, it's worse than a car.
Yeah.
And they don't quite understand that, but okay, thank you.
Okay, and then one question.
Yes.
How is Monmouth Junction in particular going to be protected from the things I've been reading about?
What are you
What are you
reading about?
reading?
Just,
Well, I see it, that, all of the land, everything was taken down on the corner of Ridge
Right.
and Stouts.
Yes.
Not Stouts, Chalks
Chalks,
Crossing.
yep.
Everything's now, it's
Yep.
in the
Yep.
works. And what right now is permitted to happen and what's still?
That is the question for 2025, and I hate to say this. The Senate and the Assembly will decide how many affordable units will be set out to be built by towns. It'll go to the courts, and the courts will adjudicate that.
Well,
We,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, no.
No, I say, are they going to build roadways to accommodate what they decided
No,
our
it's-
town?
Talk to Mike.
No,
What?
we have
Talk
to.
to Mike.
It's actually, going back to Mr. Havadansky's question, right, like that, the 1,800 units that are coming out onto Major Road, they're right behind the middle school. It's terrible. They're gonna put a light there at the end of right at the bottom of the trestle. It's terrible. It was terrible planning. Unfortunately, that was thrust upon us by the courts in the state of New Jersey.
Once we get to
There's no way we would have planned that, because
I know.
if we sat here and were able to plan that, we could have realigned Northumberland Way, and had everybody come out onto Northumberland Way and got them out to Route 1. We couldn't do that. So I wish I had a better answer for you, Mr.
Susan,
I really do.
I don't see
As a
how
former
we
cha-
can do anything.
As the former chair of the planning board,
Yes,
you
sir.
know the rules. Remember, that was all taken away from us by the
Yeah,
Bill
I
of
know
Remedy
it
suit, so
was.
we had no say into this. That's really the bottom
And I
line.
just feel so naive now. I feel like there were things that were going on that I didn't know about.
Yeah, and I know
Well,
and Mr. Havadansky and Mr. O'Sullivan were asking for transparency. I have to say that I feel that I'm as transparent as I can
Yeah,
be.
you are.
Because I don't know exactly what's gonna happen. I
Right.
don't have all the answers to how we're gonna fix these road issues and these traffic issues that are thrust upon us. And they literally are thrust upon us.
Yeah, and
not-
it's stressful. I had a hard time falling asleep one night.
Right,
And I just,
I understand.
yeah, so.
He was
do the
snoring
thing-
again?
I'm sorry?
He was snoring again?
He doesn't snore anymore.
Okay.
Got that solved.
Right.
Well, thank you. I'm sorry I held you
No,
up.
you didn't.
If
No,
I
thank you.
No,
Thank
don't ever apologize
Thanks
for
a lot. Always
comment.
a pleasure seeing
Yep.
you. I'm sure I'll see you walking, when I'm riding around my neighborhood. I'm sure I'll see you.
Thank you, Ms. Edelman.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
Oh, my God.
another biker back there.
My name is Siva Kohli. I am at 21 Perimeter Drive. First, I would like to thank Mr. Camerata and Mr. Whitlock. I know that Maria has been bugging you for the last 4 years with information, and then whatever you could give, you keep on feeding us. Thank you for that one. My property is just budding the Ridge Road properties, that farmland, which is a 21 Perimeter Drive. 4 or 5 years ago, I believe, we were forced upon by the courts or by the builders, whichever way you want to call it as, with 1,300 homes right there. And the lady just talked about the traffic, and we have been living here almost for 25 years. We know how the traffic patterns have changed. Well, at that time, being the landowner, homeowner right next to it, I have been informed of the 1,300 homes that are going every step of the way. This is what is happening with the courts, this is what is happening with the courts. And also, we all of us understand that 1,300 homes are going to create a lot of overload on the township. Not necessarily from the roads perspective, safety perspective, but on the school's perspective, on the quality of life perspective. And developments of such large size brings a lot of things along with them. We all of us know that. Well, we have been told that it's been forced upon us by the courts. Understood. Very well said. But at the same time, we also hear that at later point, the same developers have worked with the township to come up with a warehouse structures. Now, I understand that 1,300 homes, it is with the courts right now. If the judge says, hey guys, go, no, you have to do it, you're obligated to do this one, there's no other recourse. At least we have an opportunity to go to the higher courts to fight for it. One thing that I do not understand is how, when the township has agreed with the developers that warehouses can be built, and which has been submitted to the judge at the time, or in the middle of the judgment actually. Now tomorrow, if judge says 1,300 homes must be built, we will build the 1,300 homes. But he says the warehouses are okay to build. Now, you have no recourse to go to the higher courts because you already agreed with the developers as a township that, okay, we are here to build warehouses. So what is the recourse for us as a town? I do not see the recourse. We shut our own doors, I think.
There is a builder's agreement with Ridge Road Properties in the town, and it does state that warehousing will be built if the courts let that be built.
That's right, but we as a township, we understand that we have been here, I'm sure you're the citizens of the township, all of us understand what a township will go through if those homes or the warehouses come. Especially with the warehouses, it is going to bring the trucks from all over the township roads, from 130, from Turnpike, from 514, 522, New Road, 27. There's no road that will not get impacted with the warehouses, especially with the trucks.
In the settlement,
It is deep enough in litigation right now.
Yes.
That, and in fact, we have a conference on it tomorrow with the judge, that I do ask the council to be, I'm not saying you're not raising really good questions, but I do think we have to be careful talking about Ridge Road right now, because it's still a hot litigation topic.
I'm not talking about the Ridge Road and the decision by the judge. I'm talking about the township council has agreed in writing that the warehouses are okay to be built. That's what I'm talking. We shut our own doors. So we have no recourse to go to the Supreme Court if we have to. If I have to go around the township, raise $100 from each person, if the township doesn't have funds, I cannot do that to fight in the Supreme Court. Number one. Number two, for the 1,300 homes, I got the notices. I'm not talking for myself. There are 2,000 other people who signed the change.org petition for those developments, actually, against the developers. For the 1,300 homes when they were built, well, I got the notices. For the warehouses, actually, which will have a much bigger impact than the 1,300 homes, I got zip. No notice whatsoever. I asked somebody. They said it's being done behind the doors.
No. That hasn't been, see again, that's still being
Please
decided by the
correct me if
courts.
I'm wrong.
There's-
I mean, because
You
I
received,
may
American
have-
Properties, once that was done, yes, you got notices about that.
After the agreement is done and signed and sealed.
Right, but that's,
Not before that.
it's not, nothing has been signed and, things have been signed but not sealed, because
Yeah.
again, it has to be decided by the courts.
right.
But-
And this goes back to 4 years ago when we had all met in front of the homes down there. Pick your poison. Is it homes or is it warehousing? And that's what we're trying to juggle here.
That's true.
Because they're gonna build something there. And we can't stop them from building something. And we've gotten some mixed signals, absolutely.
Yeah.
Preference for warehouses, some people want homes.
It's a confusion because
Yeah.
both of them are not good for the town. I understand you're obligated, but when you are trying to give notices to people, have opportunity for people to come and talk about 1,300 homes, we should have done the same thing for the warehouses too, which is actually a bigger impact, I would say.
But sir, if I can, from the legal point of view, if the judge or if it is determined that we have to go forward with the warehouses,
Yeah.
then it will go back to the boards and then back to the council, to this body, and there will be notices that will be sent.
And then you will come before the planning board and give your testimony for, against, whatever. So none of that has been adjudicated yet.
I understand,
Okay?
but there is a document that's signed by the.
There is a document that's signed by the township
Okay,
that says.
now, after the fact, we are going to express our views, everybody comes in here, traffic is a problem, trucks are the problem. What is the recourse that we have? You guys already agreed with then the developers will go to the court
The
saying.
recourse is that, then what happens is it goes to the planning board. They have to apply to all the planning standards, and then, any kind of conditions that the planning board puts on them if they accept the decision, okay?
Like one condition would be no truck traffic except from Route 1.
Right, exactly.
So it
And
couldn't
no
go
truck
down in
traffic when
neighborhoods.
they're coming out of
I
the
mean,
site.
there's
the
things we
truck-
can
yeah,
control.
the truck cannot make a right and go past the high school, only has to make a left. So these are the things that will come out during a planning board
example,
hearing.
right.
When it's adjudicated.
But, politically speaking, township is the higher authority than the planning board.
The planning board is the township.
Yes.
Planning board, I'm sorry, whoever approved this one, whoever we are going to go in front of, after it is approved by the judge, right? So now the builder can go sue the township. Guys, you agreed upon it, you
They
signed
sued us
it.
already. They did that.
They sued-
What is that?
They sued us already, that's why we ended up with the.
That's why we've been
these
fighting this for 10
agreements.
years. Everyone's suing us,
But
and we're
we-
trying to stop this whole
But
thing.
we have no recourse to go to the higher court.
Sure.
Can we go to the higher
Well,
court?
I'll let the
We
lawyer-
could always go to the higher
Yes.
courts.
Okay.
It's whether we can win at the higher courts is a different question.
That's a different question,
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
because we want to take it all the way so that, at least we give our shot to protect our own township, right?
And
That is the
that's
goal.
been our goal all along.
Yeah.
Stall, delay, and we've been doing that now for 10 years.
But I would, that's not, if I could just say from a legal perspective, that's not actually been our strategy of late.
I know, you-
We're
I
doing
should say that
everything we
legally.
can to mitigate the impacts through the legal decisions. And at the same time, we're trying to proceed in good faith as the court requires for
That's
our.
true, absolutely.
The last thing we want to do, so, just to put a few things in perspective, and Mr. Camrata.
Right.
Ms. Hockman, I don't know, and Ms. Grover, I don't know if you were on the board at the time when Don Sears was the attorney, and we had approved the list of builders' remedy lawsuits, and if we did not approve it, okay, because I didn't want to sign it, I didn't want to approve it.
Sure.
If I didn't approve it, I was going to be held in contempt of court and could have been
Right.
arrested.
I was here.
Oh, you were here then? So,
Absolutely.
that is the constraints that are put upon us. So we actually said, okay, we'll agree to this, but
Under duress.
yes.
But if I may say,
Yeah.
so that all has gone to the Supreme Court, and it is at the Supreme Court, and there either will be a Supreme Court decision, or we're gonna get it worked out somehow.
Right.
So we are in the Supreme Court right now?
We are at the Supreme Court right now.
Yes.
Now,
That's the whole plan, not
Yeah,
just
that-
Ridge Road,
What is the
everything.
reason for us to go back and then approve the warehouses? Because nobody forced upon us, right? The only thing that's been forced upon us is the 1,300 homes,
well,
right?
and I think because we are still in the litigation, I have to tell the council and everyone, we gotta be careful what we say here in a public meeting. But if I understand, you're making a couple of points, and the council's responding appropriately, that we're in a bad spot because of the affordable housing litigation. In one of the most difficult of all the developers is that Ridge Road situation. And the council had to make a decision on what's worse, houses or homes or warehouses. At the moment, we have that document that you're correct, we did sign for warehouses. It hasn't been tested to enforceability or anything like that. And we're seeing where the current case with the local judge and the Supreme Court take us at this point. So watch closely, and I'm sure the council will want to try to be transparent about everything we're going to do.
But, knowing that, between the homes and the warehouses, homes would have been a lot better. We agreed for the warehouses. I think we discussed that enough. We all understand, what the township council has signed off on that. I do not still understand why we have signed off on the warehouses.
We don't know what the judge will ultimately approve, so.
But we submitted something to the judge between these two options. Initially, the judge had only
Yeah,
one
that's right.
option.
The
right?
and the judge has never ruled on it, so we will see ultimately if he rules and what he rules.
That's right, but we gave him the option to rule between two instead of one.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
we did.
Your point,
That's
make
number
that
one.
point.
Number two, recently.
Mayor, just for the record, we do appropriate 5 minutes for each speaker, and I'm trying to juggle between what we're saying and
One
the speakers
last
are saying, so
question,
just for the record.
Definitely, I appreciate, because this is a township issue,
Mhm.
it's not just my neighborhood. I mean, we all of us will feel it when that happens, right? One last question, we tried to get the, if any of the township, administration is, involved is the wrong word, has a vested interest in the properties by submitting an Oprah form. We could not get to the right place.
So I
with the
can
right
honestly sit here and tell you that no one sitting on this governing body has any interest in any piece of property that's out there right now.
How can we get that information from the township? Because we tried to go and talk to the city clerk, and we could not get the proper information on that one. We would like to.
I don't think the town actually has at any one place, we don't have the right to absolutely know who's members of the LLC or who is the owners of a corporation that may own another corporation that may own the property. So in some senses, we're as blind as you are.
Okay.
You can find out from us the names of the individuals or the partnerships or the corporations that have made the applications.
Okay.
And then you can take that information online to the New Jersey Secretary of State
Got it.
and see if you can find out who the partners or incorporators are from the documents they have.
Mr.
That's what
Womack,
I would do.
If I can add to that, every year too, every person sitting on this council has to fill out a financial.
Mr. Sullivan's aware of that.
I mean,
All right.
because.
And on
you
that
know,
financial disclosure form, we have to tell them who we work for and if we're.
And what
partners in
properties
it.
we own.
Right.
I'm not saying it's there, it's
Yeah,
just
no,
one
I'm
of,
just saying, so-
you know, representing so many people, asking people to come to the meetings and everything, it is at least our minimum responsibility to
Yeah.
find out, what's going
Oh,
on,
yeah.
right? So that's why I'm asking. I'm glad that, once we get the names of at least the LLCs and the members of the existing LLCs who applied for the permits, then we can go from there and then
Yes,
take
sir.
over. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
A quick question.
Anyone who hasn't spoken yet?
Hi, my name is Gary Edelman. I'm at 12 Dalton Road, Monmouth Junction, New Jersey, a resident for 52 years, and I'm just late to the party. I attended the planning board meeting about Ayers Lab and redistricting that to be for housing or something because it was in bad shape. And all the other properties around that were not approved for anything. Just no housing, no warehousing, zero. Okay, and that's what the planning board brought to the board. And I don't know if we were forced legally to approve those 1,300 houses, but when I was riding on Ridge Road, I saw them doing groundwork, not anywhere near the lab, on the corner. And I want to know what I missed.
May I?
Go ahead, Mr. Womack.
We are forced, the court did order, the town fought it, and the court did order that American Homes, which I think is the one you're
That's the one we're
speaking of,
talking about. Yes, 100%.
that they're allowed to build. They are part of the Supreme Court case that I was just speaking of, that's not finally been resolved. And the township takes the position that any work they do now is at their own risk. And if we should win the case ultimately, and they're not allowed to build that many homes or any homes at all, that they're responsible for replacing everything that they've already started on, but they feel confident enough, I guess, that they're gonna.
So they're doing this on their own dime, without approval,
Yes.
because.
Yes.
Well, they have approval. We are just challenging their right to build.
Yeah, so they have approval from the court under a builder's
From the
remedy
court,
lawsuit to
But
build
not
that.
from the town.
Right, but not from the town.
In a builder's remedy lawsuit, the court does take over some of the town's ability
Okay,
to set it, so the court
As
did
I
give
said,
them the
you know,
approvals.
I'm late to the game, I came to the planning board, they approved the heirs thing to come down, and then as I'm riding on Ridge Road, I see all the land work, and nothing about the lab has come down. So I didn't get it, so, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Sri John Chaudhary. I live on 7 Rana Court, and I bike myself, and I came with my friend, and we like biking. So I was just wondering if 522, if you guys have the jurisdiction to build a bike lane or mark a bike lane there.
The new 522?
Well, it's a county road. It's a county road.
Oh, okay.
Right.
See, the town, just real quick, the town has federal, state, county, and then local.
Yeah.
So it is confusing even to us. So, but with that said, we could also petition the county for approval to put a bike lane on that road. But it's up to them to give us approval.
We don't really have jurisdiction there. We don't maintain it, we don't plow it, and we can't change it. You have to get county approval.
What about Culver Road?
Culver's our road.
Culver Road, yes.
That's all right.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
All right, that's my only question.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Motion to close the public session.
Motion to
I'll
close?
second.
Oh, John, I'm sorry.
John,
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Quick question. Did the court take in consideration the town has a master plan which is required by the state, correct?
I would hope that they
that's
did.
what-
I would hope
It's
that
been
they
a
did.
while.
We'll defer.
It's been a while since I was on a planning board, so I just remember certain things. So did the courts take into consideration our master plan, and they're telling us not to follow our master plan, which we
Correct.
have to follow?
If I may.
Yeah, please.
Thanks, guys.
They really did not, and that's the whole point of a builder's remedy for affordable housing. They're not with South Brunswick exclusively, but they assume that a master plan for certain towns has been developed in a way that will keep neighborhoods such that there isn't much affordable housing in them. So once a builder's remedy hits a judge's desk, he acknowledges the master plan, but he doesn't follow it.
Yeah.
So he's fallen into the trap of assuming. The rest of my case. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, he hears evidence and then makes his ruling.
Thank you all. Is there a motion now to close the public portion?
Motion made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Mayor, we'll move on now to the next item on the agenda, which is the minutes. So we have 3 sets of minutes here tonight. We have the regular council meeting of Wednesday, June 5th, the executive session of June 5th, and the work session meeting of June 5th. So we can have a motion to accept those minutes, and Ms. Hockman, you're absent.
Motion made.
Second.
And a roll call. Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hockman?
Abstain.
And Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have reports. We'll start with Mr. Bidlack.
Yeah, I just have a few announcements, just real quickly. The township offices will be closed tomorrow in observance of Juneteenth holiday. There will be no interruption of garbage or recycling tomorrow, so that'll be picked up as scheduled. On Monday, July 1st, the township will be holding their Independence Day fireworks celebration at Crosswalks Middle School fields. There's going to be music, food, entertainment. That'll begin at 6 p.m. and the fireworks will be at approximately 9:15 p.m. The rain date for the fireworks this year is the following day, Tuesday, July 2nd. And then, along with the 4th of July holiday, the municipal offices will be closed on Thursday, July 4th, in observance of Independence Day. And on that day, there will be no garbage or recycling collection on that day. It'll resume collections on the following Thursday and Friday, so as scheduled. So, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Womack?
I have an item on closed session that I'll limit myself to this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Campusano?
Nothing to report.
I have nothing either, Mayor. Ms. Grover?
I have something small for. Thank you. Actually, I had the opportunity, or I would say I was very honored to attend the Veteran Recognition Street naming in the honor of the 8 Sucrato brothers, who were sent to the Army, Air Force, and everything, and they all came back, and they served our South Brunswick Township. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Ms. Hockman?
Well, I haven't been here for quite a while, but last night we had our Advisory Board of Health meeting, and we received a grant, and it's to have people receive instruction on CPR. We have partnered with the American Legion so that many of the classes have been there. The mosque, they have had classes there continuously and are being taught how to do CPR. They're not certified, but they can perform CPR. They do attend a class, and it's been so busy. It's amazing. And that is one of the things that has always been my idea of what the Advisory Board of Health should be doing. We should be doing classes on things that help people to help others, even or themselves. So everybody in the township has a chance to go to a class on CPR. You won't be certified, but you will be able to help somebody else. Also, we have a lot of things going on with, we have 2 grants, which are wonderful. We also would have a nutrition center at the, what do they call it? The Sand Hills Community Meeting, and we were being approved from the budget from the county to hold these nutrition classes. All of what is going to be happening through the advisory board is all through our 2 grants, and I am very excited. And if anybody belongs to an organization where they have an area in their development that they would like someone to come and do CPR, we'll be there. Just notify us and we will be there. Look it up on the Advisory Board of Health website and get all the information, and call Palma, and she will be able to set up a meeting. But this is all the programs. There's going to be 4 of them, and our last goal is going to be to get involved in dental education. That seems to be the most difficult, but we're trying to get scholarship and work with the dental school so that we could have people coming to South Brunswick for dental. It's one of the few things Medicare doesn't even care about. So I'm very excited about that. My other excitement, of course, is the library, which Zettelman is part of. It does my heart so well to see the library being enlarged. It has been a dream of mine to have an auditorium for shows to be put on, and that's going to happen. There's going to be an elevator so that people will be able to go up the elevator and they don't have to walk up steps or a ramp that's not approved, and it'll be wonderful when it's finished, and we're hoping it'll be by next year. The library has gone through a few glitches, but they keep going and going, and hopefully it'll be through next year. That is all I have.
We can screen more movies.
Pardon me?
Thank you.
We can screen more movies in the auditorium.
Yes, it'll be used by everybody. It'll be used by the Arts Commission, which is another one of my commissions that I oversee, and it'll be so nice because instead of having the jazz cafe in the senior center, we can have it in the auditorium if that's what we want. I mean, it's just going to be wonderful. Dance, we had dance brought in, and it's just easier to see the dancers on stage than it is, through the tables. I'm sorry, but that's all.
No, your passion's well documented.
I am so passionate about these.
Good for you.
Thank you, Ms. Hockman. Mr. Camerata?
Yes, real quick, Councilwoman Grover mentioned something about the street naming, and it's a great program. We've done 4 of them already this year. But we heard something at the last one on Saturday, and that was that the commander over at the American Legion 401 is retiring.
Yes.
So, Mr. Bidlack, I think it would be appropriate, although one of my colleagues agree, that we probably should have a resolution, just thanking him for all his years of service and duty with us.
Okay.
I think that'd be great. Thank you. And just real quick, I was going to I had some report, I was going to truncate it and just go on, but I think this is too important. Our last Economic Development Committee meeting, we had representatives from the Middlesex Magnet School that used to be called the vocational school, that as we all know it as. And we had our superintendent there, Scott Fetter, discussing internships for the high school high school students, sorry, slip, and getting them more involved with the community. An example would be they're so experts in social media, and a lot of our small companies in town don't have that expertise. So for them to go in there and show them and help them with their marketing and try to increase and help their social media platform, that would be wonderful. And the other thing is, not everyone goes to college, and that's why this magnet school is really great. And I mean, a lot of people go into vocations, and they're well needed. The trades are an absolute necessary, category of life. And you try to get a plumber or an electrician. I mean, those people, they make good salaries also. So, so we're trying to work with them. Mike's part of that too, and we're trying to work with them to develop a more robust integration between our school and the magnet school, and try to help some of these kids have a more clearer path, have them realize that there is a path if they don't want to go to college, and it's a good path. So I just thought that was very important to mention. If that wasn't so important, I wouldn't have mentioned it, because I know we were here so late.
Yep.
But that's my report.
Thank you. Mayor?
Very briefly, I did attend the Scarrato Brothers Veteran Street Sign dedication. It was great. I knew a lot of the kids, because the Scarrato family's been here forever. And one of the graduates of my age group was a teacher in South Brunswick. So kudos to them. And just real brief, the Shade Tree Commission finished up their plantings for this year. They planted 108 shade trees. Wow. So good job. And Madam Clerk, I'm done.
Thank you, Mayor. So we'll move along then on to, we had ordinances for first reading, as we discussed earlier. That item is being pulled, and we'll move that on to the July 17th meeting. So next on the agenda, there are no ordinances for second reading, and then we have the new business consent agenda. That includes items number 1 through 26. Is there any item anyone would like pulled?
Go ahead, yeah.
11, please.
Yep.
Can we
Good
do
with
it
everything
again?
else.
You did it last year, do it again. I make a motion to move 1 through 10 and then 12 through 26, I'm sorry.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, a roll call. Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hockman?
Yes.
And Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. And then the only item left there was number 11. This is a resolution accepting the resignation of Liz Nolly Tillman from the Commission on Women.
I just wanted to wish her the best in her life. She moved away from South Brunswick, and we really miss you, Liz. You were an asset to my commission, Women Commission. So I just wanted to wish you all the best for whatever you do, and stay healthy. Thank you. And we can move forward.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second, and a roll call. Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hockman?
Yes.
And Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Next on the agenda, we have our address from the floor. The second one, is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak? Seeing,
No. I got one. Come on up.
Ma'am, you were talking about the dental awareness. My wife is a dentist. Any help you need, I'll be more than happy to introduce her to you. You can have clinics and whatnot. So.
Thank you.
Very kind, thank you.
is there anyone else from the public wishing to speak?
Hearing and seeing none, motion to close the public session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Mayor, next we have the voucher list of June 18th, 2024.
Motion to pay the bills.
I'll second.
A roll call. Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hockman?
Yes.
And Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Thank you. Is there, we're at that point now where we're going into executive session. Is there a motion then to go into executive session and to adjourn immediately thereafter?
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session and then we will adjourn. Good night, everybody.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Night.
Good night, everyone.